Hey, what's up everyone? Atlantis here, and Happy New Year to all. I want to start off by saying thank you to each and every one of you guys who have supported me here on the channel and sharing the love for Wayfinder. I've got a different type of video for you today to start the new year, and it's a fun one. Over the past few months, I've collected some various clips and thought about some possible additions or ideas that could be cool if ever added in. Before we jump in, just know that this is mostly some fun, casual talk and bringing up ideas. I don't expect any of this to actually come to be, but it's cool to kind of wonder what it could look like in a game like Wayfinder. So jump down the rabbit hole with me in this video, What If Wayfinder Edition. Before we get to the minigames, there are two systems I wanted to quickly discuss, and the first being the in-game achievements and earnable cosmetics. We're fresh off Awakenings, and while that provides obvious benefits in terms of performance, I thought it would be cool if there were in-game cosmetic rewards tied to progression for these systems. Fresh off maxing out every character and weapon, it was indeed a grind, as it should be, but it made me wonder how could players gain just a tiny bit more incentive to go through the extra process of awakening more than their favorite weapon or character that also isn't tied to strictly gaining more power. Well, what if players gain cool cosmetic rewards depending on meeting specific collection challenges? For example, let's imagine we are at 50 possible weapons in the game, and players could gain achievements and rewards that are tied both to the amount of weapons awakened and how many stars they were awakened to. What if players gained a unique spray when reaching 25 weapons awakened to rank 1, and then another spray at 50 weapons to rank 1 as well? Add in a cool emotes or unique die when players awaken 25 weapons at rank 3, and another when reaching 50 weapons at rank 3. And for the sake of the example, what about unique style pieces or weapon cosmetics when players reach 25 and 50 tiers of awakening weapons at 5 stars? This concept could be applied to Wayfinder character awakenings as well, rewarding some cool aura effects or style pieces to allow players to show off their achievements in progressing through these systems. The next idea is more in line with the collection theme Wayfinder has going, and I remember playing EverQuest 2 briefly a long time ago. There were these things on the ground called shinies, which were just small glowing orbs on the ground that would randomly appear. Players could grab it and it would contain random items for various collections that were set within that particular zone. These were then turned into collection sets, rewarding players with housing cosmetics. What if that existed here in Wayfinder? Imagine running through the highlands and occasionally finding a shiny, and when you grab it, turned in an item to a collection book of sorts. The highlands could contain 10 different sets of 5 items, each involving lore of that particular zone. Let's pretend there is a set of fragments of a bell, and once collected, you would receive a bell housing item. The key is that these items would be random and involve some RNG in collecting, as that was always part of the thrill to see what you received, and if you were able to finally finish a set. This idea could be taken into the various expeditions and involve more lore and collections tailored to that given zone, with housing rewards matching that, let's say Hollow Heart or Baldoom, for example. This would just be an additional way to passively chase collections in the zones we're already grinding and result in housing items to show off to others down the road. And finally, the exciting part. There have been some pretty fun moments when grouping up with other players, and it got me thinking, what if there were a type of minigame series added to the game that provided players some type of PvP element in which you competed against players, but it didn't revolve around in-game combat, since that would be almost impossible to balance around given the large amount of variables with Wayfinder abilities, specs, affinities, echoes, weapons, and so on. Well, I have some ideas, and while some probably wouldn't work, I thought it would be fun to talk about. Since Wayfinders are technically echoes aiming to reforge their power and combat abilities, what if there was a way Wayfinders trained now that they were brought back? They could compete against each other, working on building their agility, strength, weapon skills, and so on. This would be the lore tie-in on things, and for us as players, would be minigames we could queue into and earn tokens. Let's call them medals for now, which could be turned in for all sorts of cosmetic rewards like housing items, skins, charms, and dies. Minigame 1. Sharpshooter. Imagine we load into a small arena with 5 other players and everyone has the same weapon tied to the minigame. It counts down and the round begins with all players shooting the various targets that appear quickly, almost like a firing range, with the top 3 players earning additional tokens. I'm sure there could be some sort of lore tie-in for Wayfinders picking up guns and training at a firing range, while we get to enjoy some fun reaction-based aiming against other players. Get the sharpshooter medals, earn enough of them, and then turn them in for a cool sharpshooter trophy for your apartment. Then, what if there were seasonal leaderboards where the top players got a unique Season 1 gun weapon skin? How about an obstacle course minigame testing Wayfinder's ability to utilize sprints, dashes, and jumping through various obstacle courses? These could have some trap elements and moving elements that players would also have to avoid while running the course. Imagine running this course against a few other players at the same time, or maybe even a tag type game where players have to avoid a bomb similar to that of Dread Legion, and if you get hit, you have to hit another player before it goes off or you're eliminated. This would be pure chaos with players dashing and running from each other while testing movement tech and smart stamina usage to be able to quickly tag another player or avoid them. All of these minigames would need static templates, for example the same stamina and player speed for everyone in the minigame. What if there was a game similar to soccer in the world of Evanor involving trickster bombs and you competed against others and kicking them to various goals within a time limit? How about a supercharged version of wall dodging like the first platforms, except you're competing against other players and the walls come from all directions with increasing speed until the last player remains? I know a lot of this seems crazy and it was kind of the point of the video starting off this new year. I've always had a blast imagining these multiplayer games against others, but what if you could make your own minigame in Wayfinder? What would you call it? What would the game be about? Drop those in the comments and let's see what you guys come up with. That does it for the What If Wayfinder video, and I want to thank you once again for all of the good times in 2023. Wayfinder 2024 is going to be even bigger and better, and I hope to see you there along the way. As always guys, thanks for watching, Happy New Year, and see you in the next one.